Brian Hayes, Bruce Boudreau joining us now. Free agent frenzy less than 2 weeks away. Hayes, I'm going to rhyme off some free agents. You name your best landing spot for each, and Bruce, you can agree, disagree, and pick a different spot every step of the way. Hayes, let's start with the biggest name on the list. It's Mitch Marner.
I'm going to say the Vegas Golden Knights would be the best fit for Mitch Marner for a variety of reasons, Bruce. First and foremost, this is what they do. They go big game hunting. So if you're Marner and you're going to get paid a lot of money, and there's going to be a lot of buzz about you going there, there's not going to be a ton of pressure within the marketplace, right? Because this is what they've done ever since they walked into the league. They chase guys like this. So not as much of a spotlight on him in the market of Vegas. There'll be pressure on him to succeed within the room, but it's a really good room, really good team. With Jack Eichel there and Mark Stone and Pietrangelo and Hurdle and Theodore, they're loaded. He steps in. He doesn't have to be the man. I see it as a perfect fit, Mitch Marner in Vegas.
Well, you know what? There's going to be 31 teams after this guy, and I mean it's a really good fit. But I just don't know if they're going to be able to fit Mitch Marner in. They're going to have to re-sign Eichel. They find ways, and they do the big game hunting. But you know what? I've said this all year. I think, and I don't know why I'm saying this, but I think a fit would be Chicago, and I'll tell you why. As first of all, they've got to get better. And they had Connor Bedard. They have given him nobody to play with for 2 years. Mitch Marner is a setup man. He wants to be able to pass the puck. Bedard's got to be the superstar eventually that everybody thought he was going to be. And unless they get a guy that's capable of playing with him, it's not going to happen. I think Chicago has to make a splash. They have the money. Let's go Chicago, putting in a big splash for Mitch Marner this year.
Marner from one original six team to another. That's intriguing. Marner, by the way, has already made over $68 million in his career. His next contract will very likely be more than those career earnings. How about Conn Smythe winner Sam Bennett? He's made fewer than half of Marner's career earnings, guys. Hayes, it's time for him to cash in. Where's Bennett's best fit?
Just stay in Florida. Stay at the Elbow Room. Bill Zito should meet him there right now and just sign him to an 8-year deal at big money and keep him in Florida. He personifies what the Florida Panthers are, and it's a perfect situation. He's a great second-line center, and that doesn't change because Barkov is going to be there for a long time. Lundell's right behind him on the third line. He's won there. He just won a Conn Smythe. Like you said, they're going to find money. They're going to pay him. I can't picture him in any other jersey, Bruce. I think it's the perfect setup for Sam Bennett. Just stay in Florida.
Hey, Brian, I agree with you that it is the perfect fit. But you know what? Every team in the East that thinks they have to win. They're going to do anything they can to get Bennett away from Florida. I think some huge money is going to be thrown at this guy, more than he deserves. But they got to get him away from Florida because they're looking at Florida and they could be a dynasty that could win for 2 more years. You know where he'd be a great fit? He'd be a great fit in Toronto. I think him behind Matthews, same thing as being behind Barkov. I think Toronto needs that kind of leadership, needs that kind of winning attitude, and I think he would be a great fit in Toronto.
And his own teammate, Matthew Tkachuk, told James Duthie in our panel after winning the Cup that he wants his teammates to go get the bag, go get the most money possible. Speaking of that, still in Florida, Brad Marchand, well, he fit in perfectly with the Panthers, captured his second Stanley Cup. Brian, where's Marchand's next best fit?
This is where the Leafs come into play, Bruce. This is where the Leafs come into play. Not Sam Bennett, although I do believe, and I agree with what you said, Bennett would be a perfect fit in Toronto. He'd be a perfect fit almost anywhere in the league. But Marchand represents that DNA change that Brad Treliving is speaking of. He's a bigger-than-life personality. I also am curious if he's got it in him to kind of burn the Bruins a little bit. If he's a little bit unhappy with the fact that the Bruins wouldn't pay him, and that's why he played the way he did with Florida. And if you really want to get at the Bruins, head up to Toronto. I think it's a perfect fit. He can play up and down the lineup. They need him to get over the top. He's been a Leaf killer throughout his career. I'd say Toronto's the perfect spot for Brad Marchand.
You know what? It's such a romantic thought with Marchand being in Toronto. But here's why I think he's the guy that's going to stay in Florida. And the reason is simple. He's on a third line in Florida. that makes it perfect for him. He doesn't have to get 35 or 40 goals, and he can do his job, even though he's scoring like it in the last round of the playoffs. I think in Toronto, all of a sudden, he's got to jump into a first or second line role, and he's got to play 17 to 20 minutes plus a night. I think in the first year of his contract he'll be fine, but at ages 39 and 40, I think that's not going to work for him. I think he's in the perfect spot in Florida right now. I would do anything to keep that leadership there. And if you're going to lose Bennett, just by chance if you do lose Bennett, Marchand is the perfect guy to come in there and at least keep the leadership alive in Florida. So, I mean, I think Marchand should stay in Florida. I mean, you know what? He can get Boston ticked off at him when they go in there twice next year and beat them in the same division. So, I mean, that's where I think it'll work.
One more for you guys. Nick Ehlers looking for big bucks, expected to listen to everyone on July 1st, including the Winnipeg Jets. Bryan, where's Ehlers' best fit?
I'm going to stay in Winnipeg. Finish what you started. You've been there for a decade. You're a really good player, top six forward. The Jets are a really good team. They won the President's Trophy this year. We know what they did in the first round, getting there into that second round. They're right there. They are right there. They're a really, really good team, and Ehlers is a big part of it. He's got to stay healthy moving forward. They have some money. They have flexibility. I think they like him. I think they should. He's homegrown, drafted, developed, everything that comes with that. I'd say keep Nick Ehlers in Winnipeg. What do you say, Bruce?
I'd say if I'm Kevin Cheveldayoff, I absolutely want him. But you know what? There's a couple other teams that have to make a splash with free agents, and Nikolaj Ehlers is one of the biggest ones. I think Utah, with the new name, they're only 1 year in the league. They've got a fast, young team. Ehlers is a fast, young winger. I think he would look great in Utah, and I think they're going to put a pretty big package of money together that Winnipeg is just not going to be able to compete with, and I think he's going to go to Utah.
Ehlers picked 9th overall in 2014. That was one selection after William Nylander. Remember, Nylander in January 2024 signed for 8 years and $92 million. Free agent frenzy, July 1st. TSN's coverage begins at 11 Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific.